Hi students, today we're going to talk about how to invest in your three stocks through Investopedia. So the first thing that you want to do here, folks, is go to investopedia.com. You can see the uh, email address, not email address, but the URL up here. I'm already in the simulator, but if you go to the home page, you can get to this part of your project rather quickly. But the first thing you want to do is find the game that we're looking for. So if you click on games, there's a way that you can search for the game. You can see that here's past games that we've used, and I apologize for students in the future who are not part of the spring 2016 game, but we're going to use this one as an example anyway. You'll want to click on Join Game, and I always name the game with my last name first. So you just put in Thom, Econ, Spring, whatever, Fall, whatever year or semester we're in. Should be pretty easy to find. So I'm just going to put in where we're at right now, 2016. And if you start the search, you should be easily be able to find the game, and there it is right there. Again, just make sure you apply this for the class that you are currently in. So when you find that game, click on Join over here. Should be pretty self-explanatory. One thing I forgot to mention, you will have to sign up for an account, and that also is relatively easy to do. So once you've joined the game, you can see on the left-hand side, much like Yahoo Finance, you have a navigation bar over here. And if you click on Trade, this is where you can invest in those three companies that you decided to follow for the next 3 months. Again, it's pretty simple. We'll make it as simple as possible. You want to go ahead and put your company's stock symbol in this first box and find your company that way. Here it is, minus 3M. They closed for the day at $161.88 per share. So the next step is to actually invest in that company. And the way that you do this is figure out how much you invest in that company, which is from your stock paper. So for instance, let's say that I invested $20,000 in 3M. I would take 20,000 on a calculator, and I would divide that by the price per share that it's currently at, which is at $161.88 right now for 3M. I find out that that comes to 123.5483, so on and so forth. You can't invest in 0.54 shares though, so just round down to the nearest whole number, which is 123, and then you take that number, whatever you had on yours, and you will go ahead and put that right here, 123. So now that you've put in the 123 shares that you'd like to buy for 3M, your next step here is actually buy. You can leave the transaction as buy. Don't worry about your limit number or your limit dollar amount or your stopping dollar amount. We're going to leave those blank. You're going to keep the duration until it's canceled. And at that point, if you scroll down, you'll have a button that says preview order. And you're going to go ahead and click on that preview button. It's going to ask you if that information is correct. The top of your screen is going to probably look different than mine if you're buying this during market hours. The market for me right now doesn't open for another 10 hours, so it just tells me basically that it's not going to happen until then, which is obvious. So look through here, $161.88 per share, 123 shares I'm buying. Don't worry about the commission. You'd have to have a broker, and that's who you'd be paying to do this, but don't worry about that. Here's our total. It's going to be a little bit under 20,000 because we rounded down to the nearest whole number. And then you're going to go ahead, if none of this is correct, or if something you want to change something, obviously go back. But if everything's correct here, you just submit your order, and then it basically tells you that your order's been received, and that's going to be taken care of. And then once you've invested in your first company, you want to go back and invest in your second and third companies. So go back to trade, and then go ahead and invest in your other two companies, whatever it was that you decided to invest in them. You will notice that I've given you $100,000 over here to invest. The paper said I'd give you $60,000, so the remaining $40,000 that is unaccounted for can go anywhere you want. All I ask is that the $60,000 that you used for your stock paper go into those three companies, and that you keep them in those three companies for the remainder of the project. But the remainder of that 40,000 can go anywhere that you want. If you want to do penny stocks or you want to do large stocks, go right ahead and do that. That $40,000 is up to you, and you can invest it any way you see fit. We will see at the end of the project who was most successful in their investments, and we will award some extra credit points onto your final stock project, which we will talk about at a much later date. But again, that's up to you. You just have to keep your original $60,000 in the three companies that you chose at the beginning of the semester that you wrote about in your introduction stock paper. So that's pretty much about it. We'll talk more about this in class, but that's how you go about investing your $100,000 in an Investopedia game into those companies that you think are going to do well between now and the next couple of months. So good luck to you. I hope everything goes well.